Welcome to We Don't Have Cookies with your host, Jason Marshall.
Hey everybody, thanks for downloading the show. I'm sorry it was late this week, but I've been very busy, and I thought, why not bring on somebody who's had an even busier week? And it's the one and only Elena Davies. How you doing?
You know, not great. I think that's what I said last time you asked me when I was on your show. And now I also feel obligated to apologize to your listeners because I believe that I might be part of the reason that you've been so busy. I've decided to employ you.
And it's been great working with you. We'll get into that in just a little bit. The first thing I want to talk to you about is the last time you were on the show, we talked about how neither one of us like to give out our phone numbers. You laughed because you did have mine.
Yeah.
And recently I have gotten yours.
I know. Do you feel so special?
Well, that's not the right word for it. Maybe another S word like stupid, because I have accidentally called you more times than I think anybody that I've ever accidentally called combined. And as a matter of fact, I think I did it 3 minutes ago.
You did. It is so funny, though, because I know I went into great detail about how much I hate people having my phone number, giving it out without my permission, or just people that don't need to have it having it, because I already feel so, like, I guess, violated on other social media platforms that it's like I want my one area of privacy. And we did talk about you helping me out with my podcast and some of the logistics of that. And so I was like, you know what? I really think I can trust this guy, whatever. So I remember just grabbing your phone number from our messages and shooting you, of course, a GIF of my own self, because that's how I introduce myself via text, as anyone who has their own gifts should do. And I think I remember you making a comment about how, you know, you would be respectful of, you know, having my number and not misusing it or anything like that. And you butt dialed me like 4 times that day. I was like, this guy sucks. No, I'm just kidding. It actually was just very ironic, and I can laugh at the irony.
I just can't believe that. Of all people, it has to be you. I never butt dial anyone ever, and the one person is you. But do you have any bad butt dialing stories?
Yeah. I accidentally call my stepdad in the middle of the night, sometimes when I'm drunk, and that's like the worst person to call, because, like, you know, he's my parent, but he doesn't love me unconditionally like my mom, because he doesn't share my DNA. So
Right.
He already has to work so hard to love me. So to interrupt that man's sleep while I'm just off lollygagging and being drunk is never good. But I am luckily sitting by an actual wooden desk here that I'm going to knock on when I say that I've never accidentally called someone when I was talking about them or anything like that, at least not that I know of. And that's a win in my book. If I haven't done that, then I'm doing okay.
I accidentally drunk dialed my ex once. I thought I was calling one of my friends, and I just dialed the number. We just recently broke up. She answers the phone. I am so drunk, I don't realize it's her, and I asked for Tom. She says, Jason? I said, yeah. She said, this is Laura. And I said,
oh no.
Well, I'm very sorry I called you, and I hope you're having a good Mother's Day. I will talk to you later. the worst possible time to call.
Right. I'm recently broken up with myself, and I've been dealing with my breakup like most responsible, normal adult people do, binge drinking. And I have not. I'm so proud of myself for not purposely or accidentally calling Mark in a drunken state. Honestly, thinking about, you know, I try to compliment myself every day. I think it's just good to know your value and your worth. And last weekend last Tuesday after like a five day long bender, I was like, you know what, Elena, you're awesome. You didn't even talk to him one time.
That
Be
is
proud
hard
of
to do.
yourself. It's why are we all idiots when we're drunk? It's the worst. You're like, sober you has the rational mind to be like, that's a bad idea, and then drunk you's like, that's the best idea you've ever had.
Oh, I feel really bad at calling my ex, especially since I didn't even recognize her voice. And also, it was Mother's Day and she's got kids, and that's not a good time to get a drunk call from your ex either.
That just says a lot about like the state of mind you were in at that time and like your blood alcohol level.
Yeah. Well,
we all have our moments.
This is kind of a phone-centric episode, but I recently got an update for my Galaxy, right? And I think that has a lot to do with why I've accidentally called you so much, because I'm pretty sure that if I have your text pulled up and I raise the phone up, it just automatically goes to call you. I think that's what happened last time. There's been a lot of strange stuff happening with the phone. I want to know how you feel about this. This is one strange thing on my phone, but I did it on purpose. Like I said, I have a Samsung Galaxy, but I like the iPhone ring. So I downloaded it to my phone, and now it's my ringtone.
No.
Yeah.
You know, you could just like enter normal society and get an iPhone, and then you would have probably less butt dials and the iPhone ringtone just already built in. Doesn't your life already feel easier now that I've mentioned that as a possibility?
It does. Because
I honestly, the anxiety that I have when people talk about like having a Galaxy or an Android, I'm like, I do not know how to work that space device. Like that, I would feel intimidated to look at a phone that is not an iPhone or like a good old Nokia from 2007. I could probably work my way around that thing. Okay. And okay, so now that I have a podcast officially, people are like, how do I listen on an Android? And I'm like, you get an iPhone. That's how you listen to my podcast. Duh. I don't know.
Speaking of your podcast, I have been working on it. I did notice there is a weird glitch where about every 5 to 10 minutes, it sounds like somebody saying for people to listen to We Don't Have Cookies anywhere podcasts are available. I don't know what that is. I couldn't edit it out.
Weird. Yeah.
I
I guess I should have listened to my own episode because I have no idea what you're talking about.
The creepiest thing is it sounds just like me. I don't know what to do about it. So I guess there's nothing I can do. I had to leave it.
I mean, it sounds like you did the best you could. I actually don't have any sponsors yet, so maybe it's really beneficial. You make me look professional, like somebody actually is paying me to have a podcast, and then maybe one of my 7 listeners will come follow you over here.
There you go. Normally when you're on the show, we try to talk about you. So today is a little different, but if people would like to know more about you, they can listen to your podcast. The first 2 episodes are up right now. The first one is a great look inside your life. The second one, maybe not so much, but it is a very good episode. Where could people listen?
Well, if they have an Android or a Galaxy, I don't know. But if they have an iPhone, I'm up on Apple, iTunes, podcasts. I'm working on being on other platforms, Spotify, etc. And I know there is a way to listen with other devices. I think it's called like Castbox.
Yep, Castbox.
Did I make that up?
Nope, that's a really good one too. I like using that. They give you suggestions for other shows and all that. It's a good place to go.
Well, I don't know if I want to be promoting that then. Only listen to my show. No, I'm just kidding.
Full disclosure,
of course, I want to broaden the podcast horizons of everyone. Like you mentioned, my name is Elena Davies, and my podcast is The Miscellaneous Podcast. And I realize that that's not the easiest thing to spell, and I apologize. But if you just head over to my Instagram, there's going to be a link in my bio. And then also a link to my podcast Instagram page. If you follow along that, you might get some extra little fun goodies. And we have you to thank for it being listenable lately. You've been quite helpful.
Well, I appreciate that. And before we go too far, I want to make sure there's full disclosure. Castbox used to sponsor the podcast, so I am a little partial to them.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad I picked that one to send out. Anytime someone asks me how they can listen otherwise, I send them the Castbox link. So I'm glad that I picked the right one.
Well, I want to thank you for being on the show this week. Is there anything else you want to talk about before you go?
Just my looming heartbreak, the anxieties of life tragedies all hitting me at once, and that everyone should get an iPhone because I can direct them to my podcast easier. That's it, basically.
All right. I want to thank you again for being on. I'm going to take a quick break, and when I come back, Frankie will be here with this week's weather.
That all our dreams would align. She said she was mine, but now she doesn't text me anymore. We were BFFs, shared LOLs. We'd always sign off with LYKYAMY. She said and then she didn't text me anymore. I thought that she was heaven sent until the accident that took all her messages away. Took a selfie on the water slide, her head hit the tube outside. Her hand got crushed, her phone got flushed, her voice has been taken away. And now she's gone, it seems so wrong. Our time together didn't seem so long, but I'll be strong, even though she doesn't text me anymore. Though she doesn't text me anymore.
We don't have cookies. Be prepared.
Frankie, what is the weather going to be like on Wednesday and the rest of the week after that?
It's going to be bring more rain. New York City and those places, it's going to be colder than warmer temperatures fighting each other. New York City and eastern United States. And it's going to be a big blizzard in Denver, Colorado on Wednesday, March 13, 2019. It's going to bring big blizzard in South Dakota and North Dakota.
What can people do to be prepared for the weather?
Winter boots, winter jackets, hats, gloves, scarves, ski pants is ready. Order pizzas and order Chinese food, 5 days, special 5 days to go. Do it, grocery shopping. Don't wait till last minute. Do it right now. Make sure if it's Samsung Galaxy shirts, Samsung Galaxy smartphone shirts, Samsung Galaxy tablet shirts, smartphone, cell phone, laptop, and tablet shirts, and have your treat you for your internet ready.
Is there anything else you'd like to say before you go?
My focus, be prepared to find out the life letter and everything has a history about my life. You can get them on Amazon.ca and Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble bookstores for Frankie Doll action figures, FrankieActionFigure.com and Amazon to get Frankie Doll action figures. You can get Talking Frank Doll Bobblehead on Amazon.com and National Bobblehead Hall of Fame website. And for Frankie Says Be Prepared t-shirts, you go to Lost Cod website.
Frankie, it was great talking to you. I can't wait to have you back.
Just mustard.
Do you have a Dumbass of the Year nomination, idea for the show, or just want to say hi? Send an email to jason@wedon'thavecookies.com or call 929-266-9342 and leave a voicemail.
I would love to hear from you guys, so make sure you use that contact info. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, this week has been unexpectedly busy. I have a few more projects to do, and things will be back to normal, I hope. So next week's episode might be out on Wednesday too. Not 100% sure on that, but I'm hoping to have some regular segments back on the show and some really good guests lined up too. I want to apologize to Chris Doyle for not being able to air the Fun Fact Factory segment today. I'll have that on next week's episode as well. Thanks for putting up with the craziness lately. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening. Tell your friends about the show and leave a review. See you next time.
You know what, Elena? You're awesome.